Stop the car, the voice cracked through the early morning silence, piercing the air like a scream in a prayer room. Andrew Blake's driver slammed the brakes just as a young woman, disheveled and shaking, threw herself in front of the black luxury SUV. Andrew, a billionaire tech CEO, tapped his window down, clearly annoyed. His day had just started, and already he was being stopped by chaos. But when he looked into her eyes, panicked, swollen with tears, shimmering with a strange combination of desperation and hope, something shifted in him. "I'm sorry," she gasped, her voice breaking. Please save my baby." And just like that, everything he knew, everything he believed, started to crumble. Her name was Claire Matthews. 25. A single mom. She clutched a bundle wrapped in a worn-out baby blanket, trembling as the morning wind whipped through her threadbare coat. Her daughter, Sophie, barely 6 months old, had been diagnosed with a rare congenital heart defect. The surgery cost was more than anything Claire had ever seen, $312,000. She had tried everything: online fundraisers, loan applications, visiting every charity she could find, standing in the cold in front of churches and train stations with a cardboard sign reading, "Please help my baby." She'd sold her car, her furniture, even her late mother's engagement ring. Still, it wasn't enough. The hospital had given her a deadline: if Sophie didn't have the surgery within 2 weeks, she wouldn't survive. That's when Claire saw the black SUV and something inside her screamed, "Do it. This might be your last chance." Andrew Blake was not a kind man. He was known in the press as ruthless, brilliant, and emotionally impenetrable. Raised in boarding schools, surrounded by luxury but starved of affection, Andrew had never known what it felt like to truly need someone or to be needed. But Claire didn't know any of that. All she saw was a man in a suit, in a car worth more than her life savings, who might have a heart buried somewhere under all that wealth. "I'm sorry to stop you," she said again, holding Sophie out just enough for Andrew to see the child's pale face. "But you can help her. You could save her. I don't want your pity, I'm not asking for charity. I'll work for it. Clean floors, wash clothes, anything. But please, she's dying. Please." Andrew stared, numb. He didn't believe in divine moments or fate. But for reasons he couldn't explain, he opened the door. "Get in." The next few hours were a whirlwind. Andrew personally called the best pediatric cardiologist in the country, flew him into the city, and paid for Sophie's admittance into one of the top hospitals. Claire was overwhelmed. She kept saying thank you, kept asking what she could do to repay him, but Andrew just kept staring at Sophie. It had been years since he'd allowed himself to feel anything real. But something about that little baby's tiny, fragile breath stirred him. It reminded him of something buried deep, a memory he hadn't touched in decades. His little sister, Emily, who died at age 5 from a condition not too different from Sophie's. His parents hadn't saved her. They had the money. They just didn't care. Andrew had sworn never to feel powerless again. Over the next week, Claire stayed by Sophie's side in the hospital, and Andrew visited more than he had visited anyone in his life. He started to learn more about Claire: how she used to sing jazz before getting pregnant at 19, how the father left without a trace, how she worked 2 jobs and still found time to read bedtime stories. And Claire started to see the cracks in Andrew's armor. He wasn't heartless. Just wounded. One night, while Sophie was asleep, they sat in the hospital cafeteria. Andrew had just cancelled a multi-million-dollar deal without flinching, and Claire couldn't understand why. "You know you didn't have to help us," she said softly. "No one else did." He stared at his coffee cup for a long time. Then said, "I didn't help you. I helped her. And maybe I helped the boy I used to be. The one who lost his sister and never forgave the world." Claire didn't say anything. She just reached across the table and touched his hand. The surgery day came like a storm. Hours passed. Claire sat wringing her hands. Andrew didn't leave. Not even once. When the surgeon finally walked out with a tired but relieved smile and said, "She's going to be okay," Claire collapsed into Andrew's arms, sobbing harder than she ever had. He held her. After Sophie recovered, Andrew offered Claire a job, not as a cleaner or assistant, but as a consultant for a new charity foundation he was building in memory of Emily. A foundation dedicated to helping children like Sophie, mothers like Claire. She hesitated. "I don't want your pity." "It's not pity," he said. "It's belief." Claire took the job. They worked together. Grew together. Months turned into a year. Sophie grew stronger every day. Andrew learned how to hold a baby, how to laugh again, how to let someone in. One evening, as the three of them walked through the park, Claire holding Sophie in one arm and Andrew holding her other hand, she turned to him and said, "I used to pray every night that someone would save her. But I never expected someone would save me too." He looked at her, tears in his eyes, and said, "You saved me first." The story of Claire and Andrew became a quiet legend in the city. Not for the money, not even for the miracle of Sophie's recovery, but for the simple, incredible truth that when people meet in moments of desperation, they sometimes become the salvation they were searching for. Because love doesn't always arrive in the way we expect it. Sometimes it crashes into us in the middle of the street, with nothing but a baby in one hand and hope in the other. And to anyone watching this today, sometimes the world can seem cruel. Sometimes no one stops when you're begging in the street. But never give up. Because someone, somewhere, might be one glance away from changing your life. And maybe, just maybe, you'll change theirs too.